Did you know there's one mineral essential to longevity? It's magnesium. And not just any magnesium. The most effective form is stabilized magnesium ions. Introducing REMAG by Dr. Carolyn Dean. Experience the benefits of stabilized ionic magnesium and support your health today. Visit RNAreset.com and use offer code MIRACLE10 for 10% off your first order. Visit RNAreset.com and use offer code MIRACLE10 for 10% off your first order.
We have the great Miranda Devine, who has another big scoop. And first off, our scoop to you is Happy Thanksgiving, Miranda.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Rita and John and everybody, all the great crew at WABC.
Yeah, we have Ed Cox with us too. This is, so you know it's going to be a great Thanksgiving here. And Miranda, go ahead, Miranda.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Ed.
Thank you.
And Miranda, you had something really interesting. We finally saw Joe Biden a little bit ago, and he was there in Nantucket, talking to the firefighters, and it was like, but everyone's wondering, he was pardoning the other day a couple turkeys. Everyone wondering, is it going to be his son? But it was the turkeys that were pardoned. But you have a good scoop. Fill us in.
Yeah, Hunter the turkey. I'm sure he'll be getting a pardon or a commutation of his sentence pretty soon, despite what Joe Biden assured us all that he would never do that. But look, the story that I focused on today is, I think, one of the more disturbing scandals to come out of the Hunter Biden saga. And it's basically the imprisonment without trial in an LA prison of a former FBI informant called Alexander Smirnov. And he was responsible. I don't know if you or the listeners remember, there was a story that came out that had been hidden by the FBI, that they'd been told by an informant that Joe and Hunter Biden had received a $10 million bribe from the Ukrainian owner of that energy company that was paying Hunter $1 million a year. And that was because this owner of Burisma, which was the corrupt energy company, was being investigated by a Ukrainian prosecutor, and he wanted that prosecutor fired, which Joe Biden did manage to get done. But there's no direct evidence that a $10 million bribe was paid to Hunter and Joe by Burisma. But anyway, the informant, he's a trusted long-term paid informant to the FBI. He just passes along to his FBI handler what he heard. And many years later, he's now being he's been charged with lying to the FBI. And his lawyers say that that's completely untrue. He never lied. He has never lied. He just passes on raw intelligence. And it was his handler who was sloppy and recorded the information incorrectly. So some dates were mixed up, and that's what gave the prosecutors, and this is David Weiss, the notorious David Weiss, special counsel, the former Delaware U.S. attorney who was investigating Hunter for 5 years supposedly, but we find out later from the IRS whistleblowers that the whole investigation was basically obstructed by the DOJ to give Hunter a sweetheart plea deal.
So what happened with him? They actually kind of extended it for him. Like, does it look like he's sort of a victim of political persecution?
Absolutely. That's what he is. Certainly what it looks like. I haven't seen anything in the indictments or any of the other pre-trial motions that suggest anything else. And in fact, last week, the feds slapped a new tax evasion charge on Alexander Smirnov, who is stuck in this prison in LA. It's not a very serious charge. Normally you would be let out on bail, but the prosecutors, David Weiss, is saying, oh no, that he's a flight risk and he's a Russian spy, basically. That's what they're inferring.
Yeah. The 51 intelligence agencies certified to that?
Yeah, exactly. It's Russia, Russia, Russia again.
Yeah.
You know, when in doubt, you always know there's something bogus going on because they bring up Russia. And, you know, I think it's like the boy who cries wolf. God forbid if we ever do get some serious Russian interference in this country, no one will believe it.
Right, exactly. By the way, Ed, you wanted to ask her about January 6th.
Yeah, I mean, Nancy Pelosi is a master of creating narratives, and was created by the January 6th committee, which is completely fixed by her. Those kind of narratives are really a cover-up of her own problems with respect to January 6th, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, that's so right. This is sort of a tactic of the Democrats, is that they project, and maybe they don't even know they're doing it, but they're constantly accusing their political opponents of exactly what they do or what they want to do, just like they were accusing Donald Trump of being an authoritarian and weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponents. Well, hello, what have they just been doing for the last 4 years?
Yeah, exactly. So what's going to happen, by the way, with some of the January 6th cases? Because there's been a lot of discussion, and President Trump said he will look at them all sort of on a case-by-case basis. Do you think, on the flip side, some of the people that, basically just were walking around there, didn't do anything, say the ones, there were some, obviously, no one supports the assaulting of officers or anything like that, but the ones that were walking around the building, because the door was open, as we know from a lot of reports, do you think that they will finally get out? The fact that some of them are rotting there in solitary confinement for walking through a Capitol with an open door, that's ridiculous.
Well, and it's really cruel, and it's not what the United States is all about. It's not justice. It's torture. And look, many of these people have been punished well beyond what should be normal and what's a just punishment. As you said, some of them for just walking through an open door, walking between the velvet ropes. These people do not deserve the sort of FBI, the biggest investigation of FBI history, these dawn raids, armed SWAT teams coming in, crashing into law-abiding citizens who've never had any problems before, grandmothers and so on. So I think Donald Trump will be as good as his word, and that many of these people will be pardoned. But, the fact is they've lost several years of their lives in jail. It's been a tragic burden for them and their families, and it never should have happened. So I think the equally important thing is to ensure that the Department of Justice and the FBI are cleaned up.
Equal justice for all, because for the last 4 years, there's no equal justice for all.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Miranda.
Miranda, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Bye.
you.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.